I'd start by trying to break the ice. Like I'd make a joke saying like, oh, call me Oliver, Ollie, Oi, make some noise, kind of figure out what works for them. Because that's the main focus for the sessions was, how does your brain work? What do you want to do about this? How can we make this a bespoke one-on-one session? What do you care about? Like what don't you care about? What would work for you? And it was breaking down what they enjoyed doing and kind of giving them permission to do things their way. You don't have to copy what some random other person has found works for them, because that's not your brain. That's not how it works for you. So it was really learning about the student, figuring out what makes them tick, how they want to work. Are they a morning person? Are they a night owl? Kind of what do they want to do? Do they want to work in their bedroom? Do they want to go into the library? How can they make the software work for them rather than the other way around? One of the challenges for me, and I'd like to take it on myself rather than giving that to the student, is figuring out how they can use different programs together. So it might be that they've been given something like Zotero, and they can then implement Zotero into Scholastic. So there's a really easy flow to go, okay, well, I've gone and found some papers and I've got this library here. How can I read them now? Well, you can use the Zotero import for it. And other people might be given something like a writing tool where it helps them go from a blank Word document to maybe a structure, maybe having some text in to then fill in some extra information. And it's showing them how they can use their different pieces of software together. How do you then proofread it afterwards? Or maybe they've been given a text-to-speech tool. They can go from 0 to 100 at their own pace. And it was just seeing what softwares they had and how they could be then kind of integrated together. So all of my students were really impressed by the fact that it brings up the contributions, it brings up key facts, it increases the accessibility to academic texts, which are normally quite daunting. And a lot of my students find a research paper so difficult because it's written in such a specific way where it should only be interpreted and mean one thing. But if you've been doing research for 15 years, of course, it does make sense. If you're a 19-year-old, you're in your second year of uni, you've not been reading text like that for very long, so it's quite a daunting approach. And there are all these really 5-syllable words to try and digest. And where are the important parts of the paper? And it just brings them to the forefront so they can go, cool, this is actually what it's talking about, the contributions to science that they can present using the different flashcard sections. It's so much more accessible for a student that potentially doesn't even want to do reading. They might go to do an art course where they want everything to be practical, and now they're being made to write essays and explain every single brushstroke they've made and to back it up, and they think, this isn't for me, I want to go and do the practical part of it. So it bridges the gap between the passion and the you have to do this parts of the course. My favourite part of being an AT trainer is that you can make a difference. You've got a solution for somebody to give them accessibility to higher education. It's such a different environment, university, as compared to college and school, where you kind of just let loose to do your own thing. So you go from really heavily structured to completely unguided. And so seeing people get these tools and then start to succeed, kind of they come back and go, I've bumped my average grade up by 2 grade boundaries, been able to use these strategies you give me using the tools that I've been given, and having an impact like that was just really fulfilling. All of it really. The flashcards in general are laid out so well for neurodiverse students. As an autistic person myself, I found that having this predictable format where I know there's going to be the synopsis, I know there's going to be the highlights, it made tackling a lot of literature really, really accessible. And the whole skim reading process through a 20-page PDF just isn't possible with the time that I had. Whereas with Scholasty, in 5 minutes, I could get an understanding of if a paper was relevant and if it was worth reading the conclusion fully, reading through all of the results that they presented. For me, having just this distinct, predictable format made reading actually enjoyable for the first time in a long time.